This demonstration is going to cover the use of crosshatch with an analogous color scheme to create a value scale. So once again, just like I did here with the rendering modeling as well as my line proximity and hatching, I used red as my main color. So again, I'm going to use red as my main color. Now, understanding that I'm using an analogous color scheme requires me to choose my next colors. So I'm going to be using orange and violet because that's my analogous color scheme. Again, I'm going to be using white as my highlight area. So just like with line proximity, basically what I'm doing is I'm starting with the use of lines. Okay? And crosshatch basically says that I'm going to be using two sets of hatch marks, okay, in opposite directions. So I like to start at an angle to, just to kind of fill in the value scale, and then I go the opposite direction. Now, I have to make a decision as to which of these colors is going to be my main supporting color. In other words, to darken my red. I'm going to choose my violet first and see if I could achieve enough contrast that way. So just like I did with hatch, I start over here on one side. Notice how I like to spin the oil pastels I come across, and I separate my lines and I lighten the pressure on them. So that way I could actually achieve a darker value. I'm not trying to turn this into violet. I'm trying to darken the red using the violet. So it does become a red violet. That is true. Now, one of the things that you can do as well is when you notice that you're not creating enough contrast or enough dark value, now I could actually introduce the third color. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to do some of this into my darker area to create a slightly darker version of the red. Again, I'm going to go into it with some violet. And part of the reason why adding and introducing the third color, orange, into this area starts to kind of darken it is because it does actually, the orange has some yellow in it. And so yellow, being the complement of violet, does have a tendency of darkening and dulling the violet, which impacts the red. As you can see, I start to create a darker version. Again, I want to be able to see the texture. I think I went a little bit too smooth with this, but you get the idea. Okay. Then with the highlight area, just like you did with line proximity, but you're going in two different directions with the line. And I think you get the idea. It's a little bit better with being able to see the texture. I probably just brought my lines a little bit too close together in the shade in the dark value, but you get the idea. So that's more of like what you want in terms of the texture. This is a little bit too smooth, but you can still see a difference between this, and this, and that's the point.